Hello, darlings. So here we have 1969, 1970-ish Sony CVM 1330UB. Not a KV1330UB, but this is a CVM. So yes, color video monitor. So because if you have a look a little bit closer here, you've got these extra 3 buttons, and you can see normal TV, VTR, yes, video tape recorder, and line input as well. Now, the most interesting thing about these bits, or well, I think it's interesting anyway. I don't care what you think, really. Hell, look, just look at the comments, see if I care. Yeah, is the fact that this has a hue control, yet it being a PAL machine, because it's not. Well, it is a PAL machine, but it isn't, because back then, Sony decided to sort of get around the PAL patent by just sort of feeding it into an NTSC decoder. So yeah, they worked out a way of doing that and getting around patents. So yeah. So despite this being PAL, it actually has a hue control, if you can see that. Yeah. See. Yeah, it only has a single UHF. You can see obviously where the VHF tuner would have been. So yeah, as my friend Paulie said, you can tell whenever it's a late 60s or 70s colour TV, because they always have the 3 colour red, green and blue. Unless of course you're Panasonic, in which case they add a yellow as well for no reason. Well, there you go. So yeah, the weird thing about this is it looks quite large, but if I get something like, say, a VHS tape, yeah, this is only a 12-inch screen, so yeah, it's actually, it looks large in photos, but it really is quite tiny. Yeah. So let's have a look at the back here. So first of all, yeah, so this is a, I don't know if you can see that, Sony CVM 1330UB, and I don't know if you can see there the serial number 010703. I don't know if that's yeah, I don't know if that's 1971 or 1973. I have no idea. But yeah, having a look around, obviously we've got the controls are actually quite well recessed as well to stop Mr. Twiddler from getting at it there with obviously the usual warnings. But yeah, this is the interesting part here as well. We've got a connection for obviously Sony's proprietary connection for their video recorders, and as well as a line in as well, monitor out and a TV out. Now this is the thing as well. If you were rich enough to have a Sony video recorder, the reel-to-reel, I think it was, I forget what model number it was, and you wanted to record from the TV, you would connect it to TV out, because they wouldn't have had their a tuner built in, and basically you could only record whatever you were watching at the time. Yeah, so yeah, so there we are. So you can see there's a few things. Still has a connection or a bit for the antenna on the top. And the story of this is, this monitor lived most of its life in a hospital for one of the first sort of like internal camera systems, hence why it's got the got all this stuff. So we're actually, look there, that means this hasn't really been used that much. So looking inside, I don't know if you can see there. So this is the UHF tuner, which is obviously linked to the dial on the front. But immediately above that is actually the VHF tuner. Although this doesn't have VHF knob or connection, yeah, they've actually left the VHF tuner in there. So basically the UHF feeds straight into the VHF, which then comes out, the IF then comes out of that. So it's not the first time I've seen that, actually. I've seen this on some dual standard TVs as well. So yeah, looks pretty clean in there. I will yeah, let's have a Yeah, I think I may be replacing these capacitors quite soon. Ooh, okay. Yeah, some of those are looking a bit manky. Not as bad as the ones in the video circuit or the smoothing circuits, because this actually has a transformer because it's not a live chassis. Most of these would have been a live chassis, but this one isn't. So you can actually have the video inputs. But yeah, there's a problem with having a live chassis. It's not actually too bad in the UK because we have... Where is it? Come on. All right, yeah, because in the UK, of course, we have these plugs, and they are polarized. So yeah, it doesn't matter. You can't accidentally plug these in. But then, of course, you're relying on whoever wired the extension cord or whatever that you're plugging this in to have actually got the live and the neutral wires the right way around. I'm going to put in a few pictures of what the capacitors were like in this section here. So let's have a look in here. See if I can do this one-handed. I tell you something, that actually looks in really good condition. That it's not baked or anything like that. Yeah, we've got purple Matsushita capacitors here. Very, very old ones, and they need to come out. Yeah, these are so bad. Yeah, I can't continue this video any further until I've done that. This Matsushita National focus. There we go. Had so many of these. It took me so long to actually replace every single one in there. So that will probably be subject of a later video at some point. But yeah. So yeah, these need to go very, very quickly. Well, the first one tests okay. ESR's a little bit high, but yeah. Don't know if you can see, you probably can't actually on that, but there is a date code on the top of this capacitor of yeah, of 9/3. So yeah, so 1969, third month, I'm presuming. So March 1969 is when this TV was, or at least the parts were made. There we go. Thoroughly Nichicon, well, Nichicon and Rubicon capacitor. It did. And yeah, interesting enough, these all tested okay, but in my opinion, if you are going to recap something, this is the best time to do it, is when you see a capacitor that's probably going to cause trouble, especially these purple Matsushita capacitors. Yeah, that's the best time to to recap before they cause a problem rather than after. So yes, as I briefly mentioned earlier, this TV spent all its life, or most of its life, in a local hospital. It was their first endoscope monitor. So yes, this TV, instead of like being watched to death like most Sony's early Sony Trinitons were, because yeah, people just tend to use these and just watch them to death. So that normally when you find these, the tubes are incredibly flat. But yeah, this one's got plenty of life in it by the looks of it. But yeah, so, you know, it obviously wasn't being used day in, day out. It was only being used when people needed to have their... to see what was going on inside them. So yeah, so pretty much this monitor's probably spent most of his life showing pictures of anuses. So let's see what we can... see if we can relive its glory days, I think, yeah. Ah, no, that's that. Oh no, no. Oh God, that was. I know I'm normally not. Well, I can be a bit squeamish about stuff like this, but that was horrible. I did not want to see that. What makes it worse now is my YouTube feed on this TV now is going to be all blooming this anus. Yes.
Good morning from BBC One. Our first programme today for schools and colleges is English, and it follows in 5 minutes at 9:38.